Welcome to the 12 Days of Whiskey Christmas, where I share whiskey with friends, following the theme of the song, The 12 Days of Christmas. Today is day 5, better known as 5 Golden Rings. My guest today is joining me through the magic of the interwebs. He's a great guy with a big heart and a true gentleman. A big welcome to my friend Phillip in South Carolina.
Hey, Sam.
If this is your first 12 Days of Whiskey Christmas video, we are trying our samples blind. That means that our guest doesn't know what they are drinking, which allows them to rate the whiskey with no bias. I mailed each person 2 sample bottles marked only with A and B. That's all they got. Before we try each sample, I will ask them to look away and hold up the bottle we're trying so that you at home know what's in this particular glass. Hopefully, Phillip, you kept track of what you poured in each glass.
I haven't poured yet, so I am waiting, so I did not lose track.
There you go. That's smart. Well done. All right. Well, let's get into our first sample. If you want to look away, I'm going to hold up the first bottle so that everyone at home knows. All right. I am good. So you haven't smelled these or anything yet, huh?
No, I'm doing complete as first reaction right on screen.
So I'll say this, and we can go ahead and start nosing this thing. I will say this: was maybe the most excited. This is up there, top 1 or 2 of most excited ones days that I was doing was this one, for a couple reasons. These are both not available anymore. These are, one is a limited edition and one is simply not made anymore. So they are similar somehow to the 5 Golden Rings. I didn't get super creative, so don't dig too deeply, but I won't ask you to guess them unless you want to when we get to the end. But I'm wondering if you've ever had either one of these. I was worried because you are a friend that has tried a lot of stuff like I've tried a lot of stuff. So I'm really curious, but let's this is one of my favorite bottles. First impressions?
It's a sweet bomb.
It is.
The sweet bomb. Yeah. That was not, I guess, because I'm a high proof drinker. So
okay. Yep.
I'm used to that immediate punch on those first sips. And I've had no whiskey today, so it's not like my palate. Yep.
Yeah.
First one today. And so, man, I tell you, the sweetness on that beginning of the sip, typically you get your sweetness on your back end, but it was a sweet bomb at the beginning. I like that.
Yeah, this is I love this bottle. I'll say this, I've said it in a couple of my other videos. I don't have a good enough memory to know what the proof is on either one of these. So I'm somewhat as blind as you are. So I don't know what this is. Would you say this is lower proof? You mentioned the proof on this.
I feel like it's going to be a little lower. It's probably still, I wouldn't be surprised if it was somewhere around that 100 world.
I don't remember. That wasn't a leading question.
The Kentucky Hug is there, but it's not as warm as a higher proof that I'm used to anyway.
Yeah.
So
I'm getting it more just kind of the top and not all the way down.
100%. Yeah, it warms in the chest, but not like a burn in the chest.
Are you good at nosing? Do you feel like you have good?
Typically, I mean, I'm okay at nosing. I'm trying to find it. I'm also a little stopped up, so that didn't help. But
yeah, it's definitely
trying to find
if I was to define this, and I haven't had this for quite a few months, this, if you were to call a bourbon quintessential with the caramels and the vanillas and that
Yeah.
this is what bourbon smells like, if I were to
Yeah.
say it.
Yeah. There's definitely kind of that vanilla cake. Like
Oh yeah, that's good.
it's there. Yeah, that kind of vanilla cake. It's funny. I drank one yesterday that was a punch of vanilla cake, but it was higher proof, and so this one drinks sweeter, and I like it.
What was the one you had yesterday?
It was barrel proof representative. So
I've
it's a
seen
4 year
that.
whiskey, but it was their barrel proof. So I think it clocks in at like 116. I think
Okay.
if I remember, I'd have to go pull the bottle. But a neighbor picked it up for me. It was great.
Okay. We'll save a little bit of one or A, and we'll come back to it. That's been the, I almost said funnest. Funnest isn't a real word. It's been the funnest thing in these videos is going back to the first sample after having the second.
Yeah.
Because there's often very different, and these are quite different from each other in a lot of different ways. But if you notice, that's
a good one.
It's got it's a lot darker. If you see
definitely that. A lot darker.
Yeah.
A lot darker.
Which could be, and again, I don't remember, but definitely I know that this has more proof. I just don't remember what it is. I don't want to grab the bottle either, and then you see it. Well, what is this?
Yeah.
Speaking of, why don't you look away and I'll show the folks at home what bottle B is. All right, you're welcome to look back. I got it back. Yeah, this one, whew, just the nose on B is exponentially greater.
Yeah.
Wow. And I don't mean greater as in better, but greater as in there's more stuff going on.
I get a little bit more of that tobacco on this one.
Yep.
Yeah. Which you would expect with that darker color.
Yeah. Rich mahogany. Leather bound books.
Completely different.
Wow, yeah, it is. So, fun fact, this is only my second glass out of this bottle.
Okay.
So I truly believe in the neck pour being a thing, good or bad. I've had the neck pour be great, and I've had it be terrible.
Same.
So I wanted this to be open. So I opened this, had a glass, filled your sample bottle, and that's the only thing that's been in this thing until I poured this one tonight. So
I was going to ask you how long these had maybe breathed a little bit.
Yeah. So the fact that these are so different in a lot of areas, this one bottle, the first A, almost empty, and I will be emptying it before we make some moves. The other bottle, almost full. So even they're very, very different from each other.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, this is, I would need to sit down for an evening with this. There's a lot. Wow.
Gosh. What is that?
Yeah, I'm pretty much.
There is a note. There is a note that is significantly different. I'm trying to pick up what it is. It's like it's something I ate recently, so it's like that's why it's like,
oh,
what is that? It's almost cookie-esque. I don't.
I was just gonna say what it's doing.
Like butterscotch.
Is like a cookie or a cracker. Is what it's doing.
100%. Yeah, kind of like a butterscotch, but like those Biscoff cookies, but maybe like a little bit of butterscotch in there. Definitely some spice.
Are you feeling this one more?
You definitely feel this one more, and I would think the proof's a little higher. Man, that's a fireside sipper. That's a good pipe and a good fire.
Yeah,
on a cold night, that's a winner. It's not a rye, right? Is it? Are these all?
Well, I'll let you guess before I answer. You think it is?
Okay. I don't know.
And you don't have to
the
guess,
way the way it drinks, it feels like a rye, but I'm not positive. I'm not so good that I can be like, oh, that's a rye, that's a
Yeah.
wheat,
Yeah.
unless
Rye.
I'm drinking like Old Elk, and I can pick that almost
Yeah.
out of a yeah.
So they're both bourbons, just so you know.
Okay.
Rye sometimes not without fault, but almost always I get a little bit of pepper,
Yes.
just a little bit in a rye.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm curious, are you saving some of these? I had somebody save half of their sample for another day. Yeah.
We'll see if they make it through the night.
I had a
And
guy that I recorded last night. He poured the full thing into his glass, and he was getting ready to go to a football game with his wife.
he was
And
ready.
we drank down to where our glasses kind of look like this. And
Yeah.
he's like, well, I got to finish this one before we end up. And he just, I'm like, whoa.
Shot it. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. So in preparation, this is what I did last night is I did a proof flight. Pictures not coming out great. Where I did, 1 ounce of some higher proofs that I have in my world. So
yeah. So if I were to, before we reveal these bottles, if I were to ask you, well, let's do this first. Before I do that, let's go back to A after having this complex thing. Let's try A.
Yeah. It's all the more sweet after that other one.
Oh my, isn't it? Wow.
It's like a palate cleanser.
Yeah. I'm almost getting
there's
fruits on there now.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Ooh.
100%.
Yeah. And out strangely, I think I mentioned this is one of my favorite bottles that I've ever had. I almost like it a little less after having this one.
So I'm like picking up tea notes now on A that I did not pick up on that last one.
I could totally see that. I sometimes can be easily influenced, but I also sometimes need a hint at what I can't describe. And tea is really, that's a good descriptor.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite notes, and probably because I'm a good Southern South Carolinian, and just love sweet tea. But one of my favorite notes in bourbon is when you can get those tea notes. I can't remember which one it was. I wish I could remember. I picked up one, and it was like a peach tea. I mean, it was bizarre. It had like this peach and like this tea that came in behind it, and it was. I wish I remembered what it was. I need to do a better job. Like I need to get a journal and do a better job of like putting stuff down.
Yeah, I should too. That's a good idea. All right. So now I'm going to jump back to my other question. Do you have a favorite, or do you like them for their own uniqueness, or tell me what your thoughts are?
I think it'd be situational. So like this is almost a porch pounder. That's A. As you see, it's already done.
Yep.
That one probably will not make it through the night. It's like it's a porch pounder where I could probably sit there, and if I'm not careful, I would drink way more than I needed to in one night.
Yeah.
It's good, but
I'll finish mine too.
if I'm gonna go smoke a couple bowls out of the pipe for some tobacco, that's what I put in my pipe is tobacco. Let's clarify that.
That's right.
My wife gives me a hard time when I say just a couple bowls, but that meant something different in college. Or a good cigar, I would be reaching for B.
Yeah,
just because it's got that tobacco undertone to it.
Yeah,
almost like a cigar cut.
Yeah, these are so different. I didn't expect them to be so different. Again, I'm having the same experience as a first timer with this as you are.
Right.
And they are so different, which I didn't necessarily expect. That I can't pick a favorite because they are so different.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, I would just put them at depending in the mood I'm in is what I'm going to reach for.
Yeah.
And that cookie note blows me away. I don't know if I've ever really experienced that in a whiskey. I really like it.
So this is not part of the show and it's not required, but do you want to venture a guess at either one of these that you're drinking?
Man, I have no clue. I have no clue, and that's probably because I'm a victim. We're similar. Like I don't let bottles sit. Like it's hard for me to keep a bottle and not open it. I'm a drink every bottle I got kind of guy, so I'm always rotating through the different
Yep.
whiskeys, and
Yeah.
so that's probably why I couldn't. I've drank so many different things over the last probably 3 weeks that I cannot even begin to guess.
Okay. Well, I'm going to move these so that we can see the bottles. So this is what I have mentioned as one of my favorite bottles I've ever had. This is not produced anymore. And it is, I'm curious to see if you've ever had it, Heaven Hill Green Label.
I haven't had that. I've seen some people post about it in one of the bourbon groups I'm in Facebook here in Charleston, but fantastic.
So it's
that's a Heaven Hill product.
It's 90 proof, 6-year product, 90
okay.
proof.
Yep.
It was a Kentucky only sale.
Okay.
It's funny that I'm doing this with you as a pastor of sorts. A pastor of sorts bought this for me in Kentucky.
Nice.
And, yeah. So again, one of my favorites, but also that's all I have left.
Oh.
So I saved enough of this to have with you, but I'm pretty sure that's going to get drained this week. And then B, I guess I could leave this up here. So B is Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. I don't know if you can see that in the.
I can. Which year? Which batch?
This is B522. So this is from 2022.
Yep.
Their barrel proof, the first release, I think they do 3 or 4. This is the first one of that year. The 523, which was obviously 2023.
Yes.
Everyone wants it. C924 was absolutely, everyone wanted it, or C923. I mean, I didn't get either one of those, but I was like, well, let me try the 22. And I don't think it's as awesome as B523 or C923 was, but I love this. This is good.
It's great.
All the reasons that we just talked about.
I can't remember. All right. So I bought a bottle of barrel proof and took it on vacation. I want to say it was 23. I'm going to go back and look in my notes, see if I still have it. And I didn't love it. I couldn't stand it.
Really?
I finished it because that was the bottle that I brought for vacation. But I just was not like, I'd heard so many people talk about it and I just did not love it.
So the 923, which would be September of 23, is unicorn status for some people.
Oh yeah, the 923 definitely.
Yeah,
I mean down here,
but
if it pops up on the bourbon group down here, it's crazy how people go nuts for it.
Yeah,
absolutely crazy. Let's see, when was that? I can't remember when we went because I think I say because I'd love to know. I'm gonna go back and look at my notes because I would love to know which one that was because this one I loved. It's crazy.
People don't like the one that comes out in January or February, like the A124.
It might have been an A.
And I don't know what that is. I don't know whether they're pulling the A series or the 1 series each year out of a different part of a rick house or a different.
Right.
And I don't know why, but it never really hits for people like the 5 and the 9 series do. And I don't know where that's coming from. I don't know enough about it, but any thoughts on the 5 golden rings? Again, I didn't get super creative, but they're both Heaven Hill. That's the only.
Yeah. I mean, and I would tell you, Heaven Hill. It's and I think I told you that in my text. I mean, it's definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah.
We went to Heaven Hill. We were in Kentucky in May. Yeah. And did the Derby and all that stuff. And we went to Heaven Hill and we did the bottle your own experience. And it's there that I had my first malt whiskey, and it was like a 10-year select malt whiskey that they put out. You can only do if you bottle your own, and it was fantastic. So I love Heaven Hill. Larceny is another favorite. Great weeded bourbon.
Yep. But well, all right. Well, that's it. Thank you. I really wanted. That's why I sent those text messages to my guys that were going to be my remote fellas, because I really wanted somebody who appreciated Heaven Hill products to share this with. And I'm
Yeah, man, I
super
appreciate
glad that it was you. And you know, you try a lot of stuff just like me. And I'm glad it was you. I think you appreciated it in a different way than other
Yeah,
people
man.
would have.
Definitely. Again, that one probably will not make it through the night.
Yeah.
I have to go pick up my son from youth group first.
Okay.
But then after that, it probably will not make it through the night.
But even then, it's only 90 proofs. When you get back, you're not gonna. It's gonna be fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you, sir. Thanks for joining me for 5 golden. Is it 5 golden rings? Is that what
5 golden rings? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But appreciate you, and looking forward to everything you got going on in your life. And we'll wrap this up. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you, bud.
All right. We can hang out after I hit the end record
That's fine.
too. But,
Yeah.
all right. Thanks. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.